So this video is for you, and it's for everyone. Now, usually I say that's for type of people. It's for you, but I'm telling you it's for you because you have a story to tell, and more than likely, you're probably not happy with what you're doing. You're trying to find a gig or a hustle or an activity, a hobby to where you can do something, make money on it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I just want to have a real conversation with you because I've had these conversations with my college students for the 10 plus years. And then 10 plus years before that, I've had it with high school students. And this question is always, how do I know I'm supposed to do it? How do I know I'm good? And I'm going to say, first and foremost, this is what we need to do. You need to tell your story. So if you're not telling your, you like my why? Story, not just to people that you know, but to people you don't know, I do believe it's hard for you to get to where you want to be and be happy. Now, I can just say that's the end of the video, but I'm going to give you some context here because this is where I wanted to move in this new direction of I don't want to have boundaries. I want to talk more than just marketing, leadership, entrepreneurship, development, business dev, all these things that just frustrate me because when we get to the bottom line of anything, just baseline, everybody wants to be happy. So why do we tell ourselves a different story, yet we tell other people another story? So it was like maybe 8 years ago, I found myself in a Tony Robbins event expecting to see Tony Robbins, Robert Herkovich, and Gary Vaynerchuk. And so they were in the building, except for Gary Vaynerchuk. One of the first things that we realized, the person that came out to give us a presentation, he was selling us this way to make money off of real estate. And then we looked at each other and we're like, oh man, that kind of sucks. Not kind of, it did suck because we didn't have the money to do it. And being that we didn't have the money to do it, it was like, well, what can we do? How can we make this work? And we were like, okay, well, it's all right. We're here to see Tony Robbins. It is what it is. The next speaker had a great, phenomenal story. Again, talked about business development, why we're there, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Yes, he sold us on a package that he was selling. We had one speaker to another speaker, and guess what they were all doing? Telling their story. So when you're telling your story, what becomes really important is you got to connect with people. I like to tell my story, but sometimes I don't want anything in return. But there are people that tell a story and make it very transactional because it's not about a relationship. It is about a transaction. So what I want you to realize that when you tell your story, be intentional. Being intentional allows you to be who you are. As you know, I always say, like when it comes to my brand, be unapologetically you, be you. These are the things why it's important to be you. So you don't end up being transactional. Which leads me to number 3. If you're unhappy, more than likely, you're not doing what God has created you to do. You're placed on this earth to do one thing. And if you're not doing that one thing because God created you for a specific purpose, this is where you're not shining. You have a special gift that only you can share with this world. Now, I get it. It's easy to say, well, I have this disability. I have not enough money. I don't have this family. I don't have access to these resources. But I'm telling you, you don't need all what you think you need. All you need is to just get started telling your story And your people are out there waiting to hear your story. Because again, when you're telling your story, this has nothing to do about your family and friends that know your story. More than likely, they're not even worried about you telling your story because they already know your story. This is for people that want to connect with you because they're looking for someone just like you. I started YouTubing for real, over just a little bit over a year ago. It has now taken me to this very moment to realize when you're intentional, not only will my family and friends enjoy watching this and then we get to have a good laugh, like when you watch my golf videos, like it's funny. But then my family and friends are like, hey, tell me more about that, or tell me about how you went to this course, or what is it like golfing, or what does it, we have more and deeper, enriched conversations. It's just not surface level. And then when I am intentional and giving my testimony about God helped me with my child support, or going to Kenya when I had no money, I'm telling my story because I realized that there are people out there that want to hear it. And I was scared to do it. But at the same time, it's my special gift that God has given to me. And when I have shared that, people sit in silence. I was like, oh, am I doing something wrong? Like, no, they want to hear it. And now they are like, okay, thank you for sharing that. That really touched my soul. That blessed me. Because again, it's not about being transactional. For me, and this is the bonus, it's about the relationships. The last story I'll tell you that really pissed me off, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it for real pissed me off. Okay, there's this workshop that I went into a few months ago. It was last year, and it was something I had to pay to get into. It is what it is. You pay a fee, play to pay. You pay to play to get access to into rooms, sit at tables, to receive this information. Look, I'm so mad I can barely talk. But okay, so I go through this course that a week ago, when I was in the course, maybe it was like a Tuesday. I listened to a couple of things and I was like, okay, I might as well just go ahead and just move forward with it. And I moved forward with it. It was a week-long class. And then at the end of the class, the person gave so much great information. It was phenomenal. But at the end, it wasn't about, hey, I want to see you succeed, follow up with me, da da da. And I get it. Not everything is for free. Really, nothing's for free. And there's no value in free. However, when we got to the very end, I didn't feel as if my money, my investment was that important to that person. I understand that person needed to make money. I understand that they're running a business, and God bless them for it. Again, they dropped a lot of value bombs. Obviously, I wasn't his customer avatar, but what this person did to me in the long run, it has ruined a relationship, because this was someone that was not just a business leader could look up to. This person could be a family leader and a spiritual leader for me. But now I don't even know if I can, just because homie sold me on something transactional, gave me a lot of value, but that value isn't more important to me than my soul, because that means if I was to go to your church, you're going to give me all these things to make me feel good and feel like I can do something, empower me, and then awesome, boom, you want money. Like that, I wish you would have said something like, hey, look, at the end, I have an opportunity for you. If you want to continue on with it, cool. If not, don't worry. But for you to get me like that, I guess I'm old school, but this is the part where I say we all have a special gift, and you can share that to the world and be blessed for it. I do believe in the karma of you receive what you give, which is why it's so important not to carry baggage. And that's why I said I'm learning that for myself. So when it comes to the relationships you build from your special gift, it becomes really interesting because people that want to receive your gift, by you being intentional on the things that you're doing, because you have hooked them by telling your story, which is also your gift, will allow you, as it says in the scripture, it will make room for you, which means now you can build relationships that are already have your story in mind, and you're intentionally building these to do transactions and relationships at the same time. And I think that's what gets missed, because not everyone's going to buy from you and not everyone wants to be in a relationship with you. So I think we could live in a much better world if people were more honest with each other. But if I'm going to keep it real, I think people have a hard time being honest with themselves, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are looking for the relationship with themselves, but they haven't been intentional with the gift that God has blessed them with. And so when you tell your story, you get more intentional with who you are and what you do. So make sure you tell your story, be intentional. It's not about transaction, because you have a special gift that God has given you, and you can make money from it, yes, but you can also make some powerful relationships. And if you think a relationship is not more important than a transaction, then I'm definitely not talking to you.